It's the Daylight Midnight Show.
Hello and welcome to the Daylight Midnight Show, which, let's be honest, is happening about as regularly as an old person's bowel movements at the moment. I promise you I am doing my best. My name's Greg and I'm pleased to report that as soon as I finish recording this show, I'm going for my first haircut in months. This is the last time we will have to put up with this mop of stuff that I have on my head. It's going to be a shortened show this week because I made a complete lash up with the timing again, and anytime I overrun time, I take the corresponding amount of time off the show the next week as a punishment. That is what was supposed to have happened last time, and I messed up the timer again and I overran again. So I'm going to make sure that the timer is now running, and in fact I forgot to press start until just then. So I've set it for 8 minutes, but we're probably going to overrun already because I didn't press play until that point, which is exactly what I did last time, which is why this show has to be shorter. So we're going to rattle through it as quickly as we possibly can. So let's start by revealing our wonderful word of the week, which this week is the word argle-bargle. And it's another one that really sums up me and this show in general, because it means, and I quote, a copious but meaningless talk or writing. In other words, to argle-bargle is to waffle, and if that's not another theme word appropriate to the Daylight Midnight Show, I don't know what would be. So let's swing round to the door of the lights then. I want to make some changes to outfit roulette, because I've worn this dress quite a few times, but I haven't yet thought of anything to put in place of it, so I'm going to leave it on and just hope that we don't get it. And while I think about that, let's have a look at this week's topical limerick. So the story this week is this. A man in Georgia in the United States of America has accused his former employers of being childish after they paid him the money he was owed from his last paycheck by dumping 90,000 coins at the end of his drive. They were all 1-cent coins. For some reason in America, 1-cent coins are called pennies. He says it's childish. I don't think that's childish. What is childish is when the police say to his boss, "Did you do this?" And his boss went, "I really don't remember." So the guy's name is Andreas Flaten, or Andreas Flaten, I'm not entirely sure of the pronunciation, but he was owed a month's wages. It was $915, that's about £666 at today's exchange rate. So he kept contacting his old boss and saying, "Look, this isn't on, I've left, you didn't want me to leave, but I've left, you owe me this money, I've got to get paid." He woke up one morning, opened his curtains, and there at the end of his drive was a big pile of money. So him and his girlfriend have shoveled it all into a wheelbarrow. They've taken it in the garage and they're slowly cleaning them up because they were all too greasy to use. And then they're doing that thing of saying, "Well, this is great because some of these are valuable. We found some rare old ones from the 1930s. And everyone's saying it's a ridiculous thing, but I think you've got to admire the effort that the boss put in. Because I don't care how many sofas you've got that you can stick your hand down the back of. Nobody's got 90,000 pennies just laying around. So they've made the effort of getting money exchanged into this to childishly go and dump it on his drive and go, "There's your money, mate, deal with that lot." And I also did wonder whether it's illegal and they could get him done for it, but I think unless it's specifically stated in your contract, which it normally is because they say nowadays we'll pay you by bank transfer, but if you haven't specified that, then they can pay you how they like. So it's moving on, they're getting on with their lives, they're counting them all and slowly paying them into the bank. So after all that waffle or argle-bargle, a limerick all about this story. If you want to get paid by the penny, you'll end up with a pile of so many. If your boss tries this trick, just accept he's a dick, and he can't do it every week, can he? I'll give that a D+. So from there we swing round and have a look inside the brown folder, which now of course has its own theme song. We've just had Easter, so I hope you ate a lot of eggs. Let's see what is written in the folder, that is Greg's. So the brown folder then, which remains the brown folder despite me threatening to change it, is where I write down little things that I think of as the week goes on, and then we have a look through it together. I've noted on there, messed up the timer again, so make sure I've taken off the overspill from episodes 10 and 11. I've done that, timer's running down already. I've written here, centre of the oven. Yeah, I've noticed that a lot of the things I buy, I sometimes cook from frozen, I sometimes make up fresh recipes, but I've noticed a lot of the stuff that I buy, the instructions all say cook in the centre of a preheated oven. So if you've got quite a big complicated meal, everything has to be put in the centre of the oven. So I'm imagining, do we have to buy bigger and bigger ovens to fit all this stuff in? Or are food companies going to start working on their food a bit better so that we can place it in other parts of the oven? Maybe this is my way forward, the Daylight Midnight Food Company. Frozen food you can cook in the bottom of your oven. We'll corner the market. Because at the moment, and I'm sure you're the same, anytime we cook a Sunday roast, our oven ends up looking like this, because everything has to be cooked, supposedly, in the centre of the oven. The next point is all about football, so I'm not going to go on about it. I've said before that I've started watching a lot more football on television because we've been locked down, and more things annoy me. So I'm remembering why I stopped watching football in the first place. So instead of going through half a page of my moans about the way that football coverage is done, I'm just going to decide I'm not going to watch it anymore. And my final point here I've written, will hay fever be better this year because all sufferers will be wearing masks? I'm sure I've mentioned before about the fact that I suffer from hay fever, and last year it was great fun because I get it from tree pollen. So about the time that lockdown happened for the first time, March and April, I started developing this dry throat and a little cough, and everywhere I went people were treating me like I was causing the plague. So I did wonder this year, as we're still supposed to be wearing masks when we're out and about, will people like me who have hay fever actually feel better because the mask will stop some of the pollen? So I had a look, did a bit of research, and I actually found something I didn't expect. And they are saying officially that it's more important to wear a mask if you suffer from hay fever, because your reaction to hay fever makes it more likely that you'll spread COVID-19 if you're asymptomatic. So as time goes on, it's still the same situation where 1 in 3 people that have this playful virus are spreading it without knowing they've even got it. And if you've got hay fever, you go out and breathe in the pollen, you sneeze or you cough, so you're expelling the moisture from your innards that are containing the virus, and you're spreading it a lot more. So they're saying if you suffer from hay fever, it's more important than ever that you do actually wear the mask. And the most important thing, or the most delightful thing I found out while I was doing this research, there's a lady called Professor Claire Hopkins who's involved in this. She is Professor of Rhinology at Guy's and St Thomas NHS Foundation Trust based in London. So she's all about the nose and the streaming nose, and her Twitter handle is @snotsurgeon. That's the kind of doctor I like. So I don't know how long we've got left, but we're ploughing through this, so let's crack on and do outfit roulette, and then if I don't like what it comes up with, we'll change what I'm going to wear next week. Anyway, so using the randomness of the Rubik's Cube to determine what I'm going to wear next time. The first column is green, so next week I'll be wearing my dressing gown, which once again means it'll be a very hot show. From the middle column, number 2, we'll go with yellow. Yellow, I'll be wearing a vest under a dressing gown. And on top of all that, to accentuate things, we will go with black, which is my cowboy hat, which I will have to find in the attic. So, quick check on the time, because I feel like I've really raced through this. We've got a minute to go, but I was slightly slow in starting the timer, so I think that is just about right for the time. So, a rhyming couplet to end the show on. This week the show was shorter because my timekeeping is awful. Being paid with 90,000 coins is awkward, not unlawful. I will see you soon. Have a great few days.